All right. Hi guys, I'm Tracy. Thank you for joining me today. So I have a really exciting video for you guys. It's another CD Japan haul, and I have some really amazing, exciting brushes to show you guys. I just got this package last night or yesterday, so I have not used these yet. I'm gonna try to use as many as I can on camera today, just so you guys can see them in action. But this is kind of a little bit of a bigger order in a way that there's a couple of brushes here that are, you know, on the more exquisite side. So I'll save those two for the end. And I have two very unique eye brushes that I'm really excited to try and show you guys. So before I start, I wanted to mention, in case I didn't say this before, or maybe you guys missed it, for those of you who have not ordered from CD Japan, I know it might seem a little strange. Their site is a little different from maybe what we're used to. They don't have an app, but of all the orders that I've made, and I've made quite a few over this last year, I've always gotten my package very quickly. The packaging is just done very well. Nothing is ever, you know, smashed or anything. Most brushes come with their own box, and I can tell a lot of care is put into, you know, the presentation of your package, and they make sure that nothing's damaged. And they have better pricing on, for example, the Chikuhodo brushes. They're a little bit cheaper on CD Japan, I feel, and the minimum order to get the free shipping is much lower than a lot of the other, you know, sites like Visage USA and Fude Beauty. It's about 1,200 yen, which is a little bit over $100 US. I don't know how that will translate with, you know, if you're in Canada or Europe. I'm not sure what their policy for the free shipping is. It might be different, but I use the DHL option, and my packages always get here super fast. Usually like 3 or 4 days after I order, it's at my door, which is ahead of schedule. And these brushes come from Japan, so you would expect them to take a little bit, but they come here amazingly fast. I'm not sure how they do it, but I've always had a really good experience ordering from them, and they are my preferred site to order from if I can. So I just wanted to put that out there in case you guys haven't experienced ordering from CD Japan yet. Okay, my dog is here. I'm gonna put my dog here, so just for a little bit, let me show him to you. This is George. He's 14 years old. I'll let him sit here as long as he wants. Doesn't look like he wants to be here. Anyhow, all right, let's get started. I'm gonna start out with one of the eye brushes that I got, and this is from the brand Hokudo, which I have maybe like 3 or 4 other brushes from them, and I like all of them that I've tried so far. Now the hairs are 11 millimeters long. The reason that I was attracted to this brush is that it's such a narrow brush, which I like, and also it's made out of Kolinsky hair, which I don't have yet. And I thought it would be a really good shape to get like to the inner part of my eye for a shimmer. And Kolinsky hair is a type, so Kolinsky is a type of sable, which is a type of weasel. So if you hear of a sable, you know, like they use them to make clothing, unfortunately, what they do is they use the tail to make art brushes and makeup brushes. So they're not killed for these hairs, they're killed for their pelts, but instead of throwing the tail away, which I think is what they would normally do, they sell them to brush companies. That's my understanding of just reading very briefly on what Kolinsky is, because I didn't know what Kolinsky was. And I am kind of particular on what type of hairs I buy. Like I don't like buying like fox hair and horse hair. I'm kind of like trying to stay away from. I don't mind like a squirrel hair. I think because I see dead squirrels so much around where I live. I'm not saying that they should die, but it's just not a type of animal that I feel, you know, is underpopulated or anything. And my understanding is the weasel that they get this hair from is also sustainably hunted in like parts of Siberia. And I researched a lot about how hunting and things like that are being done in a way to control populations but not decimate populations like they did back, you know, in the 1800s with like the beavers. They pretty much killed all the beavers in the US until they were so rare that they couldn't hunt for them anymore. But I do look into that because I don't like the idea of buying a hair from an animal that is kept in a cage and farmed and killed and used just for their hair. Anyhow, that's my little bit on what I think about with the animal hair and the cruelty and all that stuff. But anyways, this is a sable, and Kolinsky is like a type of sable. That's all I know. I'm not sure exactly what makes them different, but this type of hair is thought to be, it's not like a soft hair. It's a very firm hair, but let me, you know, it kind of, just from feeling it like this, it kind of feels like this synthetic rougher brush. Okay, no, I take that back. They might look a little similar, but this Kolinsky brush, it's just silkier and it's just softer, but the hairs are very firm. So let me try this with the new Pat McGrath quad that I got that I'm really enjoying. And these are all shimmers, but there's this one really nice like pressed glitter shade right here that I think will work really well with this brush. So let me show you how it picks up product. Now this is a pressed glitter formula. I hope you guys can see that, maybe not. Anyhow, hopefully you guys can see the way this applies. I hope you guys can see the way that applied. I see like a little bit of fallout on my lashes. So the lighting might be a little off today. Let me try to dim that down a little. Is that better? So I was hoping this would like perform kind of like the Refer 21, which is a synthetic brush, except hold on to maybe a little bit more of the shadow, so creating a little less fallout. It's going to take a little bit more use for me to figure that out. I see a little bit of fallout right here. That's kind of a pet peeve of mine, just because I hate having to fix it, and I don't like doing my eye makeup before my base makeup. I could never get used to it. It's kind of like stuck on there. Anyhow, so far I think that it very evenly places the shadow. So you can see the difference, I think. And I messed up because I bought two Kolinsky packing brushes. I didn't mean to, but it's just how I put the order in. I just realized it when I unpacked my brushes right now. But anyhow, I'm not mad at that because I use these type of brushes all the time, and I have a pretty big collection of them at this point, but I use usually one or two of these type of brushes every time I do my eye makeup, so I'm not mad at it. I have another brush from this line, and this is technically called the Houkodou G-S5, and this is the G, the GS5, and this is the GS1. So they do look different. I think they're different lines because this is GS-1 and this is G-S5. If anyone knows if they're completely different lines, let me know, but they look very similar. Of course, this one is shorter. This is also made out of squirrel hair. This is a really, really nice brush for packing eyeshadow on. It doesn't have as heavy of an application as a brush like this. It's softer, but it does provide a very, very kind of like ethereal application of shimmers or a pressed glitter formula. So I do like, so far, I like the Hokudo eye brushes. I do need to try this a little bit more and I'll report back to you on what I think. But as far as like the aesthetics of these brushes, they're really nice. I think these are gold plated and they're lacquered. The wood part is lacquered, and this one doesn't have the name, but this one does have the Hokudo name. I'm sorry, just there's too much of a glare, but it says Hokudo right there. Okay, and I like that it's a little bit longer. I was afraid it was going to be short like this, but it's not super long, but it's not short. So that's the Houkodou G-S5. And then the other Kolinsky brush that I got is from Bisyodo. It's the B-ES-6. And this one I want to show you guys how Bisyodo packages their premium line, which is the one with the African rosewood. It comes in its own box and it comes with a brush guard, which I'm going to start saving these because I'm eventually going to have to store some of them, and I heard this is a good way to store them. So this is the Bisyodo line that I've just been so in love with. I love the way these look. They just look so like classy and elegant. The wood is African rosewood, and the ferrule is a brass ferrule coated in 24 karat gold. And the hairs are, this is Kolinsky also, except this one's a little longer. It's 13 millimeters long, and it's maybe 1 or 2 millimeters wider than the Hokudo one. So it'll cover more space. It's a little bit fluffier, a tad bit fluffier, but it looks very similar. Actually, the hairs on this one are lighter. So let me try this on the other side with the same shadow that I use on the other side. Let me just see how this compares. It's almost like hardly picking it up. Let's see how it looks. Put one more layer on. So again, this is a pressed glitter formula, and I do have about the same amount of fallout, a little fallout right here. Okay, so I do see a little bit of a difference. Not only did this one cover a little bit more space, but it applied it a little bit lighter. I don't think you guys can see that. I feel like it's a little bit more reflective on this side, but beautiful nonetheless. Okay, so those are the two eye brushes I got. There's a lot of brushes I can compare them to that I have, but I'm going to save that. Maybe I'll do a separate video looking at all of my packing brushes, because I might have done that one, maybe not. Anyhow, I've collected a lot more of these type of brushes recently, and I can do one with like the different types that I have with the different hairs and the different companies. But those are the two eye brushes that I want to share with you guys. And now we're gonna get to the face brushes. Okay, so both of these brushes are ones that I've been eyeing for some time. I wanted to ask you guys, what is more interesting to you? Is it the Chikuhodo Z series or the Bisyodo premium line? I was just wondering. which one is more interesting for you guys. But to me, I love them both equally, so I really don't know which one to start with. But I am going to start with the Chikuhodo Z series. This is the Z4. I'll show you guys how it comes packaged. And I like it how it came with this little sleeve so that when you take it out of this, it doesn't get stuck to the sticky part, because I've had brushes get stuck to that. Okay, so this is the Z4. It's gray squirrel hair, so soft. This is, it's way bigger than the airbrush. Way thicker, longer. The ferrule is completely a different size and shape. Okay, so no, it's not like any of my other like highlighting brushes. Anyhow, this is a highlighting brush, but what I'm looking to use it for as well is under eye powdering, and I've been eyeing this ever since I got the Z8. The other Z series face brush I have is a Z8, and I absolutely love that brush. It does powder so beautifully, it does blush so beautifully, and I can imagine this one doing highlighter really well. So let me do powder with this one, see how it works with the powder, and then I'll use the other one with highlighter. I'm going to use my Kosas Cloud Set. So like a typical squirrel hair brush, it's going to very lightly pick up powder. Now I didn't powder too much here, so I can do this for you guys. Powdered, not powdered. So I think what this will be really good for is for someone with mature skin that has fine lines, that has pores, that maybe has dry skin and wants to lightly powder their face, even their entire face. This is a pretty long brush, so you could cover a lot of your face at once. And these, every time I get a Z series, I'm just like so blown away with how soft it is. I have some of the Z series eye brushes, and they're just so soft. I'm not sure how they do it, but every time I get a Z series, I'm just so impressed. And I think this would be perfect for dry, mature skin because it just very lightly applied that. So one of my complaints of this Kosas powder is that it applies a little heavy. But what I use is the Synergy Designer Pro. I think if I use this brush with this powder, it won't look heavy because this is such a light application. So I'm always excited to get a Chikuhodo Z series. So that's the Z4. Now the last one, I'll put my dog down. Say bye. Okay, the last one. This one is, oh my god, so beautiful. It comes in its own box. It's a Bisyodo cheek brush, highlighting cheek brush. And it came with a, did this come with it? I think it came with a brush guard. Okay, so this is the Bisyodo B-H-1. So I think that stands for Bisyodo highlighting number 1. And this is dyed Chikuhodo goat hair, but I have a few of the other cheek brushes from this line. Oh, that's so interesting. So these are not, these handles are different. And I have another one. I thought these were the same series, but look how much thicker this handle is and how much darker it is. This one definitely looks more high-end, more exquisite. I don't know, this, I mean, look at how beautiful this brush is. The lacquer is super shiny. They're all kind of weighty, but look how thick this handle is and how much darker it is. So these are supposed to be all African rosewood as far as the handles are, and the ferrule is 24 karat coated brass. So those look pretty much identical. The ferrules are the same size. Maybe for this style brush they just give it a thicker handle. This is supposed to be for highlighting, but I could also see this being really good for powdering under the eyes. And although this is goat hair, Chikuhodo goat hair, it's dyed. So what I like about the hairs being dyed is I prefer that to powder because I can see the powder a lot better on the brush. And this shape is very useful. I have a few other ones. I have one from Houkodou. It's much smaller, and this one is more pointy, and this one is much bigger. But I would say this is probably the most, I don't want to say fancy, that's like a simple word, but I guess exquisite. This is probably one of the most exquisite brushes that I own at this point, with the dark handle that is like so heavy and weighty, and the bristles are just so perfectly shaped. I don't know how they dye it, but it's just like perfectly symmetrical as far as the colors go, the coloring goes, and it's so soft. I'm just comparing it to the Z series. So I can tell this is more flexible. This one has more, has less give. This one, they're both very silky though, but this one is more silky. And this one is a little bit thicker, so there's more hairs in this one. But something I'm noticing with the Z series, and I noticed this with the Z8, it's a little crooked. Do you see that? It's not symmetrical. It could be because it just came out of the packaging, but even there, see, it's a little higher on this side than on this side. And I don't think that's intentional. You guys see that? So this is a pinched ferrule, like a very slightly pinched ferrule. And see how it's not completely domed? It's like a little bit higher on one side. Find that the same with the Z8. Can you guys see that? It's not completely even. Like the hairs are a little bit longer here than on this side. I know it's very, very like splitting hairs type of situation. Didn't mean to use the pun there. It's just what came to my mind. But I notice it more with the Z4, but let me wash it and see if it kind of evens out. If you guys have the Z4, let me know if you think yours is like that and if you think that's intentional. Okay, so let me use this with my highlighter. I'm going to use the new Christian Dior Luminizer that I'm loving in Coral Glow. So yeah, that really evenly applies the highlighter, and it doesn't apply a lot on. I feel like that's kind of like a light application. Yeah, I love these Bisyodo face brushes. Not just are they so luxurious, but they feel so nice. I just love, you know, being able to do this when I put my makeup on. It's just a joy to use these brushes. So that is the last brush that I wanted to haul for you guys. 40 millimeters, the hairs, which is pretty long. It's definitely longer than these other ones. And I'm thinking of putting a video together with all the Bisyodo brushes. I know Bisyodo is kind of a niche brand. It's not available in not a lot of places, but I do really like the selection that they have. They also have a cherry series, which is less expensive, not as luxurious, but I love this brush for under eye powdering. I will say this line is hit or miss. I have one that I really don't like. It's a cheap brush. I don't even use it. It's packed up somewhere, but I can bring it out and do a video in case you guys are interested in learning more about Bisyodo brushes. So those are the brushes that I got recently that I wanted to haul for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have an opinion on which line of brushes you guys are more interested in, this one, the Z series, or the Bisyodo, their you know, premium line, let me know, and maybe it'll help me decide which brushes to get in the future. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye.